Welcome back to Debating Your Dollars, where two financial advisors with two opinions have one goal in mind, helping you make sound financial decisions when it comes to your money. Today, we're going to talk about something that I don't know that it gets talked about all that much anymore because of the evolution of retirement plans and things. But what we're going to discuss is, should we love pensions? Should we want pensions? You know, they've gone away since the late 80s. Do we miss pensions? I have a strong opinion here. And I'm just going to start with it. Again, because I value freedom, the last thing I want is a pension.
Yeah.
It's very rigid. You know, it's Social Security already is rigid, but at least Social Security gives us a cost of living adjustment.
Yeah. And a death benefit.
It's
not much, but it's
$50, right?
But it's better than pensions.
It barely tips the caterer when it comes time for our viewing and wake. But there's a lot of folks that will say, I miss having a pension.
Yeah.
I am not one of them.
I think they miss what the pensions do for them, which is it's auto. It's easy.
Right.
You don't have to think about it.
The only thought you have is, when is that Social Security and pension amount? Right. How many years?
Yeah. How many years?
How many years?
Yeah.
How many years until I can collect my pension? Side note, I think it's what's plagued public education, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But I am not excited about pensions. I will say this, it's not mindless. I think pension planning for folks receiving a pension, it requires different planning.
Yeah.
Because, again, my biggest criticism of pensions, especially pensions coupled with Social Security, is what state are you living in?
Yeah.
Your fellow employees, your fellow workers are your beneficiaries, not your family.
I think that's what makes people sick when it comes time to understand when we're going over a pension, like the things they have to be aware of. You can leave your spouse a percentage of your pension, and for cost, obviously, right?
Well, when you think about how much it takes to fundamentally support just one person's pension. I mean, let's just use the raw withdrawal value terms or annuitization terms.
Yeah.
And that based on your income. Wouldn't you rather have that? Well, again, because of what we know about income planning.
Yeah.
And we talk about this at length. Our income is on a smile curve.
Yeah.
And we're spending more at the beginning and more at the end and less in the middle to later middle stages.
Typically. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A pension doesn't give us that flexibility. A pension doesn't give us any flexibility because it's not giving us that cost of living adjustment. And it's nice to say I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
How many pensions have gone defunct?
Oh.
How many?
Don't Google if it's underfunded, because if you Google, for example, don't Google what states are underfunded, because pretty much all of them are.
All of them are, right. I mean, and we saw, you won't remember this because you were 6, but during the financial crisis, there were a lot of concerns about pension plans vaporizing.
Yeah.
You mean 75 in the middle of your retirement, and all of a sudden you find out that the pension was underfunded?
Yeah.
Wasn't funded well? I know there are supposed to be things in place that make sure that this isn't a reality, but
they've never been tested.
There were laws in place that were supposed to prevent Bernie Madoff from doing what he did, and that didn't go so well either.
Yeah.
So imagine, maybe I'm a control freak. Maybe I value that freedom too much. That working for a date that the pension board tells me now you're okay.
Yeah.
I want to control that into the process a bit more than waiting for the pension board or Social Security to say, okay, now it's time.
I agree. But what are the pros, right? So like you're getting a flat stream of income for life. It's pretty much autopilot. You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a net to that. I basically view pensions as a bond that is going to pay you for the rest of your life, that you have a dividend forever that you can't control. So that's the pro. Now the cons, we just talked about it, and we all unfortunately know someone that did this. They got to their number, they got to that age where they can take their pension, 65, passed away. There's no death benefit in a pension. It just goes, like you said.
Right, you hope you made the right beneficiary selection.
Yeah.
But if you didn't,
it's gone.
It's gone. You can't go back and change that beneficiary decision and maybe took a pension cut for no reason.
But let's say you made it the whole way. Let's say you made it to 90. And we just went over this in a separate conversation of debating our dollars, where we said, the flat payout, right? Let's just say the flat payout was 50,000 in that scenario we went over. In that scenario of withdrawals from a portfolio, it left the most behind your peers. And the pension's doing the same thing. It's giving you a flat payout, but it's not giving you anything to leave behind no matter what. So even if you make it the whole way, there should be something going to one of your heirs.
And it's because when it's time to retire and it's time to start receiving your pension.
Yeah.
You're going to be given some options. How much do you receive? How much do you leave for a beneficiary? There is some important planning that is required there that I don't want to say unfortunately, and we'll get back to what the solution should be, but again, our emotions take over logic.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I leave something for my spouse. So I'm going to take a reduction when, particularly if you're a woman receiving your pension, the odds are that you're going to be the second one to pass away.
Yeah.
And you're taking a reduction in your pension for a scenario that's only one potential scenario out of 4.
Yeah.
So there's 75% of the other scenarios make more sense. But you take the pension reduction and going through that pension max conversation of understanding what your pensions are going to look like. And also, and this is kind of our theme, waiting until you're 65 to do this is the wrong time to plan.
Yeah.
When you know that a pension is in your future at 25,
it's way easier to plan.
Pension max conversation should be had.
Yep.
And it's not, and it's because I have 40 years, and then I have 30 years. I still have 20 years. I've got 15 years. I've got 10 years. Oh, crap. I've only got 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too late. Never mind.
Yeah, because one of the, you get down into the nitty gritty with planning and pensions, right? I think one of the options that always comes on the table is some form of life insurance to counter, because if the person with the pension passes away, the income stops.
Right.
And typically both spouses are relying on that income for retirement. So you have to prepare for one, that income to stop and nothing to be left behind, or the reduction of income somehow. And one of the ways that you can do that is through life insurance. That's one of the situations where life insurance makes sense to some extent.
Yeah, life insurance, unfortunately, because of other scenarios, stay tuned for the next episode of Debating Your Dollars where we talk more about life insurance.
Yeah.
But because of other scenarios, particularly things that are popular in the press right now, life insurance doesn't get considered. When it can be useful.
Yeah, it can be a tool.
It is a tool. It serves a purpose. This is one of the purposes that it does serve, where folks have lost trust and now say, I don't know that I want to solve this with life insurance. And I'd rather trust the pension board to manage my money than this global life insurance company. It becomes...
Yeah. Well, I think too, okay, so let's say, just use me for example. Let's say you're in your 20s with your spouse, getting married, planning to be together for the rest of your life, and one of you has a pension. The person who has the pension should either have some kind of convertible term policy. If cash is a little tighter, if cash is, cash flow is a little bit better, should probably be some form of permanent life insurance. Right. And, like you said, you turn on the news, a lot of permanent insurance gets bad news. But that's actually one of the scenarios where it works. Right. It's cheaper when you're younger. It's
right. Exactly. That's the thing. The cost of insurability is so much less expensive when you are a 25-year-old versus, I mean, I'm 47, which is not old. I know you may think differently than that, but just the change in premiums from 25 to 47
it's extreme.
Is huge, especially for men.
Yeah.
We do dumb stuff, so we're expensive to insure, more expensive to insure than women are, but it is, it's something that, again, don't discount the need for planning.
Yeah.
Because you have a pension. And we hear that.
Yeah.
And we heard that a lot.
They take care of it for me.
Right. I don't have, they just need to tell me the day and I'm out of here.
Or they'll bring pension options in at 65.
Right.
And you've almost completely eliminated the life insurance option at that point because it's going to be expensive to insure any 65-year-old.
There's still, we hear all the time that pensions have gone away. There's still a lot of people that receive pensions, particularly in our part of the world when it comes to, Western Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania as a whole, teachers, police, state police,
government worker, really,
city workers,
defense around
right? There are a lot of pension recipients that need to do this planning that often just they're saying this is the date.
Yeah,
I'm good, and I just would, again, I am not a fan of pensions. I would prefer a 401k to a pension, but understand that with a pension, you have a valuable asset.
Yeah,
a valuable income stream,
valuable bond
that requires different planning, just as robust.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're in a household where both folks don't have a pension.
Yeah. Well, I think too, like the second half of pension planning becomes, all right, I'm young. Say, I think a teacher is probably the best scenario here just because they seem to be one of the ones that, if you work for like a utility company, there's a chance you leave. Right. Or the teachers seem to stay within the school district throughout their career once they're in. So that's probably the best scenario here is like, all right, I'm a young teacher. I know that my highest year of income is going to be perpetuated throughout my life with my pension. And it's a big bond that I can't really control investments too much with. I can't really control what the payout's going to be. How do I counter this? Because if I'm getting a flat payout and Social Security is going to be maybe a third of my income, if I'm lucky, in retirement, that's the only thing adjusting for inflation. How do I take those vacations? How do I pay for that next roof? How do I pay for that next car when my pension gets crushed with inflation? And the answer to that is, you have the bond, go get yourself the stocks, the equities, the mutual funds, and almost different kind of account, almost a Roth, because
using the market becomes a necessity more than anything. Right.
Because if you're young and as teachers initially make less than they do in the long run. Use the Roth because you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. Your tax bracket's not going to go down throughout your life with your pension and Social Security. Start paying the taxes on it now. Grow it tax-free. And that's going to be your tax-efficient retirement conversation there. Yeah. Teachers should love Roths. I think really most people that know they're going to have a pension their entire life should love any type of Roth. Roths, 403B if it's offered, Roth IRA, because that income's going to be perpetuated throughout your life.
Right.
And then the second point of it is your pension's your conservative investment, right? So when we talk about a portfolio, you hear all these numbers, 60-40, 80-20, 80-20 means 80% stock, 20% bonds. When you start as a teacher,
20%.
You're 100%. Yeah, you're 100% fixed income, right? And no stock. So you need to go out and counter that by being more aggressive in portfolios. You're going to participate in the ups and downs of the market, sure. And you just have to sleep at night knowing that your safe haven, ideally, is going to be your pension. And it's not going to keep up with inflation. Google the best hedge to inflation on Google right now. It'll come up. Common stock is your best hedge. So that's day one as a teacher.
But the discussion we just had about the market over hundreds of years, 100 years with, plenty of reasons to not be invested.
Yeah.
And it's still been our best hedge.
Yeah. So that's something you need to understand too. And then I think the prime example of why people are better off with 401ks versus pensions is, name the countries still with pensions left. It's like a lot of Europe. In Europe's, I think their seniors and really like their GDP, one of the reasons that they've kind of
innovations happening here, buddy.
One of the reasons they considered that is like they don't have the same capital markets we have. They don't have the same setup. They don't have a lot of 401ks. I think even Canada isn't fully bought into the 401k scene.
Yeah, admittedly, that's something I don't know much about.
This is what I talk with at conferences with advisors. Like when I talk to advisors from like Canada and like, they're saying that they're trying to institute capital markets like us, regardless of like any of their views or anything like that. But, it's becoming a newer thing and it's helping people in those countries. And just when you hear helping, like I said, they already have the pension, so they're looking for brighter horizons forward, and they're seeing some of the success that 401ks have had and even IRAs have had, and they're trying to replicate that. So if you're wondering if a 401k or if a pension is better, like look across the ocean.
Yeah.
Really, and it's not to the quality of their business or anything like that. It's just what their people are desiring over there are no longer pensions. They're desiring the 401k and the IRA opportunity that you have here.
Yep.
So
it's the freedom, the liquidity in the freedom for sure.
Yeah, it might make your heart hurt a little bit more because you're gonna have to, pensions, you're not really dealing with the market downs, right? But overall it's worked out better, and continuing to grow capital markets and figuring out how to make this better and more efficient every year has been a big success for retirees in America.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Debating Dollars. If there's any other topics that you would like to hear us debate, please let us know in the comments. We are always looking to see what questions you have and what issues that you may be confused on, that we could have two very differing opinions that help you make the best decisions when it comes to how your dollars are spent.